Money does not buy happiness. And I know you could go on any street corner and hear that. I know you could go to any YouTube channel and hear that, but I'm going to talk about why. Hey kiddo, welcome back to my place. I'm Cami. I've been managing construction projects for close to 20 years, and I've learned a thing or two about how to live adult life by applying the principles I've learned in my career. So let's get to it. Today, I want to talk specifically about the concept of quality of life. In my first video, where I lay out the framework of the life blueprint, one of the 10 knowledge areas that we talked about is quality of life. I want to talk specifically about what people misunderstand about the concept of having a good quality of life. First of all, money does not buy happiness. And I know you could go on any street corner and hear that. I know you could go to any YouTube channel and hear that, but I'm going to talk about why. Most of the time, in order to acquire a lot of money, the type of money that's life-changing, the type of money that you think is going to make your problems go away, you actually have to trade other things that are, in my opinion, more important and harder to come by for that money. You end up losing control over your free time. Actually, what is free time? When you're making a ton of money, honestly. You end up with chronic stress and the issues that come along with that. Health issues, the inability to rest, strained relationships. And also, let's talk about how you can't really enjoy the money because you don't have any time to go spend it. There are a ton of high earning people out there that are in a constant state of anxiety, stress, and honestly, isolation. It's very difficult to have meaningful, deep relationships, spend time with the people that matter to you, do things you enjoy, take breaks, get enough rest. Take care of your body, take care of your mind when you are putting in as much effort as it takes to be a high earner. Let's also talk about how success does not look the same for every person. We all want different things. We're all good at different things. And one person's trash might be another person's treasure when it comes to making it to a point in your life where you can consider yourself happy. Some people value flexibility, some value structure. Some people want ambition and they want to grow. Other people want stability and they want peace in their life. Some people thrive socially, some people need solitude. So trying to copy and paste someone else's life that looks like it's something you might want will probably in the end just make you miserable, honestly. Next, happiness is not the goal. A high quality life includes having a purpose that you stand behind, that aligns with your own core values as a person, being responsible and taking accountability for the things in your life you're responsible for. I'm going to talk a lot on my channel about that pit that you get in your stomach when you know that things are not fully in your control, but you're not exactly sure how to get to the bottom of it. One of the ways to get rid of that pit in your stomach is to go ahead and take accountability for items that you've let slip through the cracks. A high quality life also includes what I'm going to say is feeling uncomfortable in service of the growth that you're looking for. As a registered yoga teacher, one of my favorite philosophies is basically that life is all about finding the balance between discomfort and ease. When you're in a difficult yoga pose, you know that it's doing amazing things for your body. It's doing amazing things for your muscles, doing amazing things for your ligaments and your fascia and all the things that need to be exercised and stretched. And you're pushing yourself because it's so uncomfortable. In that discomfort, you figure out that you will eventually find ease in it because you've committed to it. And so you have to find a way to get comfortable in the discomfort, knowing that you're growing from the experience. A high quality life also includes a wide array of emotions. You're not always going to be positive. You're not always going to be happy. Sometimes you're just going to have life throw things at you. And a high quality of life includes the ability to roll with the punches. It includes the ability to get back up again whenever something knocks you down.
Still here, asshole! I'll always be here! You'll push me down and I'll get right back up again! 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 And again!
Getting knocked down isn't a problem. Staying down is a problem. Not figuring out a way to get back up and get back on with your life, that is going to cause you a lot of trouble when it comes to trying to live a high quality life. So people with the highest quality of life in general, they're not the happiest people every single day. They are the most aligned with what they want out of their life in general. All right, let's talk about the idea of comfort. Comfort does not equate to a high quality of life. Too much comfort actually erodes your quality of life. So when life doesn't have challenge, standards that you have to meet, accountability that you're taking, and a meaningful amount of effort that you're putting into it, you're going to feel bored. You're going to feel restless and anxious and unfulfilled. So, although I know it sounds like a lot to take on responsibility, accountability, and work and effort to have a high quality of life, it's actually very intuitive. Feeling that discomfort when you're putting in work to grow, it improves the quality of your life. You don't feel stagnant. Who wants to feel like they're stuck in one place? It's not going to make you feel good. And that's what too much comfort is going to give you. I think one thing people misunderstand as well is that they think that quality of life is about what you have in your possession. It's actually a whole lot more about the things that you decide to tolerate, what you repeat every day, what you worry about constantly, and what you avoid addressing. Avoiding addressing issues is going to lead to a low quality of life. So if you have two people that both have identical circumstances in life, they can experience a wildly different quality of life based on boundaries, habits, and their mindset. Next, let's talk about how a lot of people think that you have to make really big changes or have big things happen in your life, exciting things happen to have a high quality of life. It's not true. What you really need in order to maximize your quality of life is those small, daily, repeatable activities and habits. So your quality of life is actually largely determined by how much sleep you get, your nutrition, how much movement you get in your life, your workload boundaries, emotional regulation, and the ability to help others regulate emotionally, and the order of your home and your relationships. A vacation, a promotion, or a large purchase is not going to give you what you're looking for. Also, let's talk about how people very often confuse fixing every problem with feeling better. So once we can get to the point where this is taken care of and that's fixed and that's behind us, then we'll feel better. Things are going to be better in life. Quality of life improves hugely when you learn to handle problems effectively, recover faster from stress, and trust yourself to manage whatever's coming at you next. Because problems do not go away, they keep coming. So it's your ability to weather the storm that's going to increase your quality of life. Also, I want to make sure everybody understands that whatever you're going through in your life right now is creating a version of you that can actually be responsible and sustain and be a good steward of what's coming for you in the future. So I think the biggest takeaway here is quality of life is not about eliminating difficulties and discomfort. It's about increasing your capacity to handle life without chronic stress, resentment, anger, or exhaustion. It's about resilience. Switching gears a little bit, I want to talk about something that I came up with in the process of thinking through the life blueprint. Within the quality of life knowledge area, there's a mathematical equation that I came up with. It's very simple. Don't worry. I know nobody likes math. I do, but I know a lot of people want to run and hide when we talk about math, but it's very simple. And what the quality of life quotient says is that you need 3 things in order to sustain a high quality of life. So once you realize what quality of life looks like for you and the different things that will bring you a high quality of life, you have to be able to sustain it. If you can't sustain it, we start back at square one and we continue to struggle. In all of my thinking about what creates a high quality of life, I started to realize there are these 3 things. Number 1, intentionality. Number 2, your circumstances. And number 3 is your skill level. The quality of life quotient basically says quality of life equals intentionality times circumstances times skill. The reason it's times and not plus is because if any of those 3 things equate to 0, like you have no intentionality, you have no skill, you have no good circumstances, it all goes to 0. You have to have all 3 components working together to sustain a high quality of life. Let's talk about some examples. We have all heard somebody talk about winning the lottery and how that would change their life and everything would be so much better. If we haven't heard someone talk about it, we're the ones who talked about it. So people kind of joke, but they're actually pretty serious a lot of the times about if they won the lottery, they could quit their job, tell their boss to screw off, and go live how they want to. Here's the issue with that. If you don't apply the 3 things that are part of this quality of life quotient I'm talking about, it's not going to be sustainable. Let's talk about intentionality. You win the lottery, you spend the money. You're not intentional about what you do with it. You're not intentional about creating good habits that sustain your ability to be a wealthy person and live how wealthy people live. If you spend money on crap, if you gamble the money away, if you spend money on people who don't appreciate it, it's not going to be there for very long. And it's not going to have made a lasting positive change in your life. If you don't have the right circumstances to be able to handle having a large amount of money come into your life. And I'm talking things like maybe you have a controlling partner, maybe you're being financially abused or something like that. That money is not going to change your life. If the circumstances in your life, whatever they may be, do not allow for you to have a lottery winning and be able to keep it, it's going to be an issue. If you are an addict, you're going to run through the money. If you are somebody who's easily controlled or easily manipulated, other people are going to run through your money. You have to have the circumstances to be able to sustain this. Lastly is skill. If you have a ton of money come into your life and you're not used to having an excess, if you don't have the skill to manage money, to properly invest, to figure out how to minimize taxes, to figure out how to utilize that money in a way that is actually going to be a positive increase in your quality of life, then it ain't going to happen. You win the lottery, you have to be intentional about how you spend the money. You have to have the circumstances that are going to allow you to actually be able to utilize that money and appreciate that money in a way that you can sustain it. And then, of course, you have to have the skills that come along with being a person who's a good steward of money, or else it's just going to fall right through your fingertips. And in the end, the net result of winning the lottery, which is what we all wish for, is going to put you right back at square one. So all three of those components of the quality of life quotient have to be present to be able to sustain anything that increases your quality of life. Here's another example. Let's say you get your dream job. You finally get the job offer that you've been hoping for years. You start showing up to that job and you are super intentional about being successful in your role. You're showing up early, or at least on time. You're at all the meetings you're invited to. You're putting in your 2 cents. You are working your butt off. You're doing everything you can to be intentional about really appreciating that job and making sure that you do whatever it takes to keep it. Let's say all the circumstances are right. They've given you all the training. They've given you all the resources. It's a comfortable work environment. It's not a huge workload. It's just a good situation overall. So the intentionality is there. The circumstances are there. If it turns out that you do not possess the skills to be able to do the job that you were hired to do, regardless of how great your attitude is about it, regardless of how gung-ho you are about succeeding in the role, and regardless of what the circumstances are at work, your boss is great, your coworkers are really cool and loyal. It's a great team. If you don't have the skill, you don't keep the job. All it takes is one of the 3 components to not be present for us to not be able to sustain something that could really increase our quality of life. So there you have it. It's a quick rundown on quality of life, things that people tend to misunderstand about what it is and how to get it. And then, of course, a quick little math formula that's going to help you sustain quality of life once you wrap your hands around what it is that you believe is going to increase and improve your quality of life. I'm sure there's a million different examples that the quality of life quotient applies to. We don't have time to go over all of them today. But think about this. When you go to figure out what the things are that will make you feel like your quality of life has truly increased, think about what you're going to have to do to be able to sustain that. Just like everything we talk about with the life blueprint. If you don't realize what you want your life to look like, you will never recognize that you have arrived at that point. So that applies to quality of life as well as every other knowledge area that we talk about, all 10 of them. So just keep these things in mind. First, figure out, what am I misunderstanding about quality of life and what am I missing in order to have it? And then, am I ready to sustain it once it comes to me? Because you'd be surprised how easily it comes, and then, of course, how easily it also goes if you're not prepared for it. So that's all I have for you today. Thanks again for stopping by, kiddo. We'll see you later.